Our next speaker is situated not in Canada, which I think is an important contribution to this discussion of events happening in Canada, to have some perspective from people that are not here, but observing what is happening and tying it to what is happening also internationally in response to capitalist and imperialist crisis. So our next speaker is Jesús Rodríguez Espinoza. I just want to make sure he didn't drop off. He was having some internet issues. Oh, he's here. Okay, perfect. So Jesús Rodríguez Espinoza is an expert in international relations, Venezuelan politics, and communication. He served for years as Consul General of Venezuela in Chicago in the United States. And prior to that, he was part of the foundational editorial team of the website aporea.org. He is the founder and editor of the Venezuelan progressive website Orinoco Tribune. Jesús, welcome, and let's hope that the internet stays strong.
Thank you, Alison. Yes, my internet is bumpy. Thank you for the invitation. Yes, as you said, I'm based in Caracas. So we have a perspective, we see the convoy from afar, but in Orinoco Tribune, we have been trying to follow the convoy, the Freedom Convoy situation closely for different reasons. One of those is that we have one of our editorial co-editor. One of our co-editors is a Canadian, and he was very involved in the following of the convoy, and we have been trying to present our perspective about the convoy and to follow it. So I just want to start saying that the cost of the convoy is very complex, and it has created a lot of frictions, even among the left. And I just wanted the beginning to highlight. I know that maybe we already have been, talk about that, but the causes like the anti-vax, people, or the people against the lockdowns, or the people that are against authoritarianism, or state repression, are part of the igniters of this social phenomenon that happened in Canada. And of course, COVID-19 exhaustion is another key element to have in mind. And I would add that big pharma is, the rejection of big pharma is another big igniter for the convoy, if you ask me. So, these are like 4 or 5 elements that create, in our opinion, the environment for the convoy to have some sort of support, even among left people. And I wanted to highlight that because we have an important, readers base in Canada that criticize us because we publish some, critic analysis about the convoy from a leftist perspective. And then, when you engage in that debate, you realize that there, for example, are people from the left that supported the convoy because they were against the lockdowns, and that's absolutely understandable, because a lot of people got exhausted by COVID, but also got tired of the repressive, approach of some countries towards the pandemic. So I believe that created some sort of confusion among not only among leftist people, but I believe among liberals that might have, joined or supported the convoy. So those things, I believe, have to be analyzed properly in order to give the convoy the right weight, to analyze the support of the convoy properly. So I just wanted to mention that because there's a lot of confusion or discussions about those issues. that we as leftists see them as something only happening within leftist circles, but I'm pretty sure that that's something that is not affecting only the left. It might be also affecting right wingers and liberals that might have, joined the Freedom Convoy. So, within that framework, one would ask oneself, what is the ideology behind the convoy? And if you ask me, when you hear the speeches of the people, at least the ones that I heard, you notice that there might be some sort of anarchist tendencies within the convoy. But also, when you check the images, you notice that there's also something like related to anti-communist, fascist, tendencies within the convoy. Even something that no one talks too much about, but Steve Lala, our co-editor that lives in Canada, mentioned us a lot, which are these Trudeau banners with saying that he was a son of Fidel, and that's why people, should join the convoy. I mean, that's like something pretty crazy, pretty like, trying to drive people crazy, because they were using those images, trying to encourage people to, join the convoy, but using the communists, ghost and things like that, which is pretty, I don't know how to say it, like worrisome, maybe. Of course, we have and we can ask ourselves, I mean, in terms of ideology, I mean, were there working class people in the convoy? I mean, were leftists joining the convoy? I mean, one can ask oneself that questions. I don't see it pretty clear, but as I mentioned before, I believe that there might be some leftist people for the reasons that I mentioned before that might have joined the convoy. Are they Trumpists? I believe that that's the common opinion of the majority of the people, at least in the left. It is my opinion. I mean, I see like most of the speeches, the nature of the complexion of the people that participate in those demonstrations were very similar to the ones you see in the pro-Trump protests in the US. So I mean, in my opinion, they resembles a lot the Trumpist movement. And that means white supremacists, racist people. I was trying, looking at some videos to check if, there were Black people or indigenous people in those protests, and I didn't see many. I see a few Black people. I believe that I didn't see too many indigenous people or brown people. But I'm not saying that we're not there, but the majority of the people that I saw in all the protests and the videos that we have seen are white, people. So now, taking that into consideration, one have to question, could the left, I mean, was the left capable to capture and give real purpose to the convoy? I mean, I asked that question because we have some readers that reach us and told us, and even some writers, contributors that write in Orinoco Tribune that wrote about the mistakes of the Canadian left, not taking advantage of the situation, and taking leadership within the movement and giving it a little bit more of purpose. I don't see that very clear. I don't see that as an option, but there were people talking about that. And one can ask oneself also, I mean, was the maybe in that same line of thought, one can ask if maybe the left can be able to organize a real protest, a real movement to try to neutralize this, craziness and really move towards the real demands that the majority of the Canadians needs to defend, to fight for. So that's a question that one has to ask to the Canadian leftists to see what happened, because there might be also a problem of leadership within the left in Canada, and one should question that or ask about that, especially us that are not inside the country. And now I want to talk about something that has to deal with the international scope of the Freedom Convoy. I mean, we have the Freedom Convoy in Canada, but we have right now the nationwide Freedom Convoy, or the People's Convoy in the U.S. And those guys has been doing moving, organizing, and mobilizing people in the U.S. And one wonders if that's gonna become massive, especially in the U.S. In preparations for the 2024 presidential campaign, in which everyone sees Trump running again as for presidency. So one have to ask oneself about the possibility of the internationalization of the Freedom Convoy. And that takes me to that, some friends of us also question what they call a fake or false dichotomy between conservative and liberals, or Republican and Democrats in relation to politics. I mean, I'm talking about they call it a fake dichotomy because they say that this kind of debates, criticizing the convoy or criticizing the riots in the Capitol Hill in Washington are just distractions to keep liberals and conservatives fighting among each other, while the 1% keep running the show and taking all the money, sucking all the money they can from the system, and impoverishing people all over our countries. So I mean, that's I believe that that's an important debate, because I mean, it's a reality that when you see what happened in the U.S. with the Capitol Hill protests, or rebellion, however you want to call it, you notice that there's a lot of media attention towards those phenomena, and you wonder if that is something that has been constructed precisely to distract people's attention. So some friends of us talk about those things, and I believe that it's important to put the finger there, because there might be an explanation. I mean, there might be reasons behind that, and maybe we might try to, if we address those reasons, maybe we can find solutions to to fix or to properly respond to the convoy or phenomena similar to the convoy. And also another thing is how you control the exporting of the convoy. I mean, we saw in France some incidents in relation to the convoy, and also in Australia some incidents trying to replicate the convoy idea in those countries, and one have to ask also, it also happened in Spain, but it was kind of different because they were in the middle of a strike, but some people were trying to push also during that strike of truckers in Spain. There were people trying to push the idea of organizing something similar to the Freedom Convoy. So I mean, one have to wonder how to balance between not playing the game of the 1%, but also addressing the possibility of rejecting that kind of phenomena being replicated in other countries. And that now takes me to Venezuela, in which we had, for example, the guarimbas. And we have some friends that wrote in Canada that wrote a nice piece comparing the guarimbas with the Freedom Convoy, and there were a lot of people criticizing them because they say that the convoy was not as violent as the guarimbas in Venezuela. But even though they wrote that, I mean, they noticed and they wrote about that difference in the piece, they were attacked because they make that comparison between guarimbas in Venezuela and the Freedom Convoy in Canada. But in reality, I mean, the guarimbas are, in essence, very similar to the convoy because, I mean, the guarimbas were these violent, called by the press peaceful, but in reality very violent protests that happen in Venezuela, has been happening in Venezuela in several moments in our recent history. And basically middle-class people surround, I mean, they blockade their neighborhoods, and they basically have everyone living inside certain areas blocked with noise, with some sort of blockades, burning tires, and that kind of situations that are not sometimes are not violent, but in reality they are very violent because they have people kidnapped within their neighborhoods, and that's somehow make me think a lot about what happened in Ottawa. So I find that there's a connection between the guarimbas in Venezuela and the Freedom Convoy in Canada, this regarding the fact that maybe the levels of violence in each one were different. But now I can ask myself, can some right-wingers in Venezuela try to replicate a Freedom Convoy here? Or trying to make evolve our guarimbas and connect them with trucks to try to create more disruptions than the ones that they usually create? I mean, that's a real possibility that one have to think about, and that one have to foresee in order to I mean, and for that we need to, and I mean, for that reason it is important to question and criticize what happened in Canada with the Freedom Convoy, because if we don't do that, we will allow the replication of that phenomena in other countries. So that's the connection that I wanted to build between the Freedom Convoy and Venezuela, and then there are different things that some questions to finish that I want to raise. I mean, one is connected to the Emergency Act. I know that you already have talked about that, but it was used as a scapegoat by some leftists to criticize those in the left, criticizing the Freedom Convoy, and they say that we in the left that were critics of the Freedom Convoy somehow were the blame for the Emergency Act announced by Trudeau by the end of February, I believe, or March. So I mean, that's another part of those cracks that we see within the left towards the issue of the Freedom Convoy. What will happen with the Trudeau inquiry on the Emergency Act? Something that I've been reading that, I mean, one have to, I mean, I don't see it clear, maybe because I'm away, very far from Canada, but what will happen with that inquiry, and what happened with the Rolling Thunder thing that was mentioned before? I mean, we see that the tendency remains now with bikes, with motorcycles and things like that, but I mean, the seed of the Freedom Convoy is still there. And the other question is that I ask myself is, what will happen with the political scenario within Canada after the Freedom Convoy? Because you hear those fights between Polivray, I don't know if I pronounce it well, or Chavez, and you see that there's some politicians taking credit and moving up in the, you know, support of some people, yes, because they were supportive or not of the Freedom Convoy. So those are questions that I raised there. I'm done. I'm open to, I'm gonna finish with this, and I will happy to answer some questions at the end.
I'm Michael Hudson. I'm appearing here for the International Manifesto Group. If you like this video and ones like it, please subscribe. For more information, go to the address on the screen.